Okay, we're going to start with the Bread of Life book. I own this one. Beautiful gift. I've made a few of the recipes and they're amazing, but I have to confess I have not read the text. And Shannon tells me the text is incredible. It's just, you'll want to get saved again. And I can't believe I haven't read the text because I love the idea of bread, the picture of bread in Scripture. So anyway, have a look through this book. The popovers recipe is so good. It's a fun lunch for us. We have one that we're giving away. There's sourdough recipes in it too. If you like sourdough, I think she tells you how to get your own starter going, and then she has some recipes to use with it and lots of regular bread recipes. Okay, let's get this one over with right away. Doug Wilson and Christ Church in Idaho. Again, I'm not going to give you a disclaimer. If you're famous, you pretty much have controversy surrounding you. He has controversy surrounding him. His wife and daughters have made a huge difference in my life in recent years because of their teaching. Fantastic, practical, down-to-earth teaching. So do whatever you want with Doug. His wife and his daughters have amazing things to teach you about serving your family, about being the wife, mom, grandmother that God wants you to be. So their church has created their own app called Canon Plus with loads of content, and I almost feel guilty telling you about it because we're going to be talking about a phone detox tomorrow, and we're trying to encourage you to get off your phones. But if you have a 30-minute limit, it would be well spent listening to the ladies on Canon Plus. So I just want to mention a few. Several years ago, at one of their conferences, the theme was Table Grace. And I listened to a few of those last weekend when our conference was canceled, and they were so good. Just down to earth, encouraging, motivating, challenging you to serve your families well at home. So good. They've recently done some really professionally done quality documentaries, and one is called Come and See. It's on the same topic about hospitality, starting with being hospitable to your own family and then branching out to those around you. There's one called Detox for the Modern Mom that some of us watched as a webinar in the spring, I think, spring or summer. So good. So Detox for the Modern Mom, I think a lot of the content came from Rachel Jankovic's book called You Who. Right? I thought we had one to give away. I'm going to check at home tonight. I think we're going to have one to give away. We talked about this in other years. Fantastic. All the talk about identity and self-expression and feelings these days. Rachel will help you put them where they belong in submission to Christ. It's just an excellent book. And Eve in Exile. Eve in Exile is my favorite biblical womanhood book ever. It's not the traditional, it's not the norm, it's not the old cliches. This lady is going to really give you a fresh perspective on what it means to be the glory of the glory. It's just so good. They also did a documentary based on this book, so that is also on the app. So the app, it works out to $12.06 Canadian a month. It is a subscription, but they always have coupon codes. The first month for 99 cents. Usually it's Doug 99. Sometimes Jared 99. But we can find those codes. If you want to try it for a month for 99 cents, we can get you a code because there's some things that are really good on there for women. I love the Wilson women. I'll probably come up, I'll talk about a few more of their things later on. Let's do them all right now. So, Becca, who wrote Eve in Exile, is also a caterer, and they have a college and a Christian school there, and they do a lot of big events. So she wrote a cookbook, and her husband is the president of the college. So as a ministry to the freshman students, she started a soup night once a week. So she would invite the entire freshman class to her home one night a week for soup. And so these are her recipes. She has scaled down versions if you want to serve 6 or 8, and then I think she has for 50. If you want to do white chili for 50, or, there's a sausage soup that's a lot like zuppa toscana. Did I say that right? Anyway, really nice recipes. But the solid gold in this book is in the beginning when she tells you how she does it, step by step. And she doesn't spend 3 days doing it. She teaches school, so she tells you how she places the Walmart pickup order for $2.15 when she's done her classes, and now she has soup for $50 and fresh bread on at 6 o'clock when everybody comes. Fantastic tips in the beginning of the book. So if she can do it for $50, we can do it for our family, right? This, I have to be honest, this book is hard to find. I paid a fortune to get this straight from Idaho and Canon Press. But if you can find it, check Amazon. They come and go. It's a really good book. What else do I have by the Wilsons? Silver Lining by their mom. So those were sisters that wrote those books. And I told those who were here a couple of years ago that I bought the Silver Lining because it's written for women who are entering, older grandmotherly type years. And I should have known better coming from Nancy. She is enjoyable to read, but it's a little bit ouchy, right? She doesn't write flowery things and you get lost in all the beautiful. She just tells you like it is, but it's still entertaining. And so when I picked up this book, I thought, yeah, I've got kids older. I've got a son who's married. I probably got things to get ready for. And oh my goodness, ladies, whatever you are becoming today is the grandmother you're going to be, right? If you're a grouchy young woman, you're going to be a grouchy old woman. That's just the way it is. This was a real wake-up call for me. So we don't think that we're going to turn 60 and suddenly become all these beautiful things, right? We need to start working on it now. This was an enjoyable read. And Nancy also wrote this set, The Fruit of Her Hands and Praise Her in the Gates. And I haven't read these for years, and I need to reread them. This is going to be part of my fall get back on track reading. Just down-to-earth practical encouragement for Christian moms and wives. There's one more. Daughter Rachel wrote Loving the Little Years. And I have to read you what Ted Tripp, the author of Shepherding a Child's Heart, that was so highly recommended in our parenting Q&A, this is what he says about this book. This is a delightful book. That may seem a strange comment on a book that deals with life with such candor. It's all here. The fights in the back of the car, the dirty diapers, sinks full of dishes, runny noses, exhaustion, all the stuff of having 5 young children. It is a fresh and honest book because it faces the problem of sin, both in kids and in parents. It is filled with profound insights into living wisely as a Christian parent. It has all the things I look for in a parenting book. The focus is nurture, not just control. The motivation and empowerment is grace and not efforts. This book will help any mom or dad, for that matter, with loving the little years. Such a good book. And I came across this the first time when I had teenagers. This is what I love about the Wilsons. They talk about principles, and those principles apply all through your life. It just looks a little bit different when they're teenagers. Same principles though. So no matter what stage you're in, you'll find good stuff in here. Okay, that's all the Wilsons. So now we'll try to stay on track. Okay, Bakerita. Have you heard of Bakerita's blog? So our gluten-free and dairy-free chocolate chip cookies tonight were from this cookbook. This is, look at it. More than 100 gluten-free, dairy-free, and refined sugar-free recipes for the modern baker. So I have 2 gluten-free, dairy-free kids, and we are really enjoying this book. It is so fun to have reliable sweets. You can make do with a lot of things, but everybody enjoys the chicken and potatoes, and then when the desserts come out, it's really nice to have some fun things to share with my gluten-free kids. So we're going to give one of those away tomorrow. Next, Ninjam. I'm probably saying that wrong. This is our favorite cough syrup. If you have a sore throat or a cough, this stuff is amazing. And they sell it at Superstore now. In with all the other international foods. It was right beside like Uncle Lee's green tea, that kind of stuff. And this, very affordable at Superstore. Stock up. I bought about 8 for the coming winter. We love it. Best stuff for a cough. We're going to give that away tomorrow. Okay, here now. I stole this one from Cheryl's store. There is only one copy, and last I checked on Instagram, it's hard to find. So there you go. There's one available here tonight. We talked about this a few years ago. Kate Merrick's husband, Britt Merrick, was a very well-known, very successful, popular pastor in California. And he had quite an online presence, and they just pulled away. They got off Instagram and Facebook. He stopped posting recordings of his sermons, and they just retreated back to real in-life life. And so this book is about that process and what they gained from doing that. And it's a really good fit this year with our phone detox talk. So again, very engaging writer, very real. I really enjoyed this book a few years ago. And when we were talking about cutting back on our phone use, I thought of this book again. So I thought you might be interested. So I don't know if you can, it is kind of hard to find. Maybe she'll print it again, but just keep an eye out for it. Okay. I have to mention Back to Eden gardening because I still love it. And we've got some new ladies here. So Back to Eden, there's a website. Paul Gauci is the man who developed this method. And it's just all about the mulch. Just a heavy mulch. And you know what? This summer, I planted my garden. And I watered until things grew. And I did not water my garden until like August. And then I only watered it because I heard other people talking so much about watering their gardens that I kind of got panicky. My plants didn't look like they needed it. But the mulch is amazing. It feeds the soil. It keeps the soil moist. And I could go on all night about it. The best thing about it is the movie's free. He did a documentary about it. It's free online. And it's like a sermon because he talks about what he learned when his garden wasn't growing well. And he would go out to his garden and pray and say, God, what am I doing wrong? And the lessons that God taught him and the spiritual principles that he applied to his garden, you'll learn a lot. It's amazing. It's like a little mini conference in a movie. His name is Paul Gauci, and it's the Back to Eden garden method. So I think probably backtoeden.com. It's on YouTube. Yeah, it's easy to find. Just search Back to Eden and you'll find it. Okay, our Wendelin cookbook. So the molasses, the old-fashioned molasses cookies that were on the gluten-free part of the table tonight were from the Wendelin cookbooks. Yes, and I have my own down here. So, having gluten-free, dairy-free kids, it is always so exciting to find new books. So these Marissa's recipes are not dairy-free, but it's easy to make them dairy-free. Coconut oil, margarine, whatever, lard. I'm using my homemade lard, and it's going well. Beautiful, reliable recipes. And look at the books. Aren't they pretty? She's doing a new printing. There will be books available soon. We have a copy of each of these to give away. And I have the third one, my own copy that you can look at. We're going to have angel food cake tomorrow for lunch. From this recipe. So gluten-free food that I can serve my whole family and they all love it. No one, turns up their nose and said, is this gluten-free? They really can't tell. So Marissa's here. Do you want to wave, Marissa?
I was going to say, should they be autographed?
Yeah, we should autograph them. That would be fun. If you have any questions about the recipes or about ordering, you can ask Marissa herself.
There are new copies available on the table, on Sarah's table.
Oh, good. Sarah James with the painted signs. There's a few copies there. Very good. We're going to have an autographing table. Did you bring your Sharpie? Okay. I don't have a copy because I haven't bought it yet. I've been borrowing the library one until I can't borrow it anymore, and then I take it back and start all over again. But last year, I was asking about gardening tips and good books, and someone recommended Melissa Norris to me. So I looked up her family garden plan. Such a good book. Chart after chart after chart. How many plants? How many people in your family? How many plants should you plant? How much is it going to yield? When to plant them? It's so full of good information. So if you're just getting into gardening, or maybe you've been doing it for a while and you're feeling kind of dry and not getting anywhere, I can't recommend Family Garden Plan enough. It was really helpful to me this year. And your library has it unless I have it in my living room.
That's why you requested.
Yep, it's true. Can't deny it. Okay, on gardening, I'm going to tell you about winter sowing. Do you know about winter sowing? So I hid it because it's not pretty. I brought my milk jug. So here it is. We saved a bunch of milk jugs and we cut them in half and we planted them and we stuck them out in the yard in January. Okay? Just taped them up, no top on it. I put mine along a south-facing wall in January. And in May, I had all kinds of lovely little plants growing in there. So easy. The plants just know. When it gets warm enough, when there's enough sunlight, they wake up. God gave them that knowledge, and they just start to grow. So I had 8 or 10 of these out there last year. If you don't have a greenhouse, and I don't, if you're good at killing little tiny plants trying to grow on your windowsill, and I am, this is just about foolproof. Don't water it. It's just nice and moist. Put your seeds in, and a few months later, you've got transplants all ready to go. This one has thyme in it. It's recommended for perennials, but I did annuals too. I did flowers. I did hollyhocks. I did mint and feverfew. I did a lot of herbs. Trying to think. Mostly herbs and a couple of flowers, I think. But, pretty low investment. So just stick a bunch of seeds out there and see how it goes. Okay, I got to move along. Oh, my mini measuring cup. Here's a plug for the Great Canadian Dollar Store. I love this thing. I bought one and broke it and went right back to get another one. They have other colors. Green's my favorite. 4 tablespoons, and look how it's written. You don't have to do this. You can just look in, and there it is right there. From half a tablespoon up to 4 tablespoons. How many times are you making a recipe and you need 3 tablespoons of something? This is a lifesaver. It will change your cooking habits. So run to Great Canadian Dollar Store and get one of those. Okay, Hope's Table is a cookbook that I do not own, but I've eaten some of the food that my friends have made from it. Delicious, and what a beautiful book. I would have that on my coffee table. So my friends who own it say this is super easy recipes, regular ingredients that you already have, but they are delicious. So we're going to give one of those away tomorrow. Okay, I have to tell you about this other website. Again, take your 30 minutes, use it well. A family that I've been following on YouTube called Homesteading Family, Josh and Carolyn Thomas, are teaching all kinds of long-lost homesteading skills. And I have learned so much from them in the last year. And now they have started the School of Traditional Skills, which is like masterclass for homesteaders. So I bought a monthly subscription. You can buy the yearly subscription. You can buy the lifetime thing if you want to spend $1,000 and you're good to go forever. I did not want to do that. So I went with the monthly because I can easily budget that. And the first class I did was raising pastured meat chicks because we had just got our first load of meat chicks. And oh my goodness, it was so informative and so helpful. Just like masterclass, short lessons, easy to do. So well explained, and everybody teaching their class is an expert in their field. So there's sourdough, there's raising animals, there's reclaiming pasture land, there's working with dairy, making your own dairy products. I can't even remember all the classes, but I'm really excited about that. So it's the School of Traditional Skills. Look it up if those are the things that you're interested in. It's the School of Traditional Skills. It might be schooloftraditionalskills.com. I don't remember. Carolyn and Josh Thomas are the names of the people who headed up. So Paul Gauci with the Back to Eden method, he's going to be teaching a class on this website. Lots of good stuff. Yep, Josh and Carolyn Thomas and the School of Traditional Skills. Canning, there's a class on canning if you'd like to learn how to do that. I have to tell you about iodine. So a number of years I was experiencing symptoms, and there are thyroid issues in the family, and I was sure I had thyroid issues. So I went to the doctor, and of course my blood work all came back, you know, like upper range, but still within normal, so they had nothing to offer me. So I went to the naturopath, and they helped. They said, yeah, those numbers could be improved. So they gave me some things to help. But I was still so tired and starting to have other symptoms. And a friend told me, now I am not a doctor, so here is, you know, the warning. I'm not a doctor. Do your research, talk to your doctor, talk to your naturopath. But a friend told me about iodine. So I just started taking iodine drops in water every morning. They work better than the supplement that the naturopath gave me. So if you look up thyroid symptoms, mine were, well, pretty much all of them, but anyway, mostly I was tired and achy. I was really starting to ache constantly, and when I started taking the iodine drops, I had more energy and the ache went away. So if you're experiencing what seems to be maybe thyroid-related symptoms, look into iodine. Our burgers tonight were cooked in the oven. Have you done oven burgers? This is my favorite thing. We have burger night at my house is every Friday night, and I have a large family, and we like to have one for lunch on Saturday morning. So I do 24 burgers every Friday evening. And I was rushing home from a class and spending the next hour and a half frying, you know, to try to get supper made until I discovered the oven burgers. So 20 minutes at 425, and you're good to go. I can get 12 burgers on a cookie sheet. I can put 2 cookie sheets in and switch them halfway through, and in 20 minutes, I have 24 burgers ready to go. So that's a life-changing tip that we all need. How about Instant Pot chopped boiled eggs? Do you know about that? So our potato salad, say you need 24 chopped eggs. I know you all do that often. You can cook it in your Instant Pot in a cake pan. If you want to know how, talk to me later. Trust me, my girls in the kitchen were very happy to not be peeling 24 eggs yesterday. Okay, I'm going to tell you about, I'm taking too long, preserves. Preserves by Companies Coming. I've been learning a lot about canning. I mean, I've always done some jams and some pickles, but I'm expanding my repertoire, and I keep coming back to this one. These are at Value Village all the time, okay? So if you're at Value Village or maybe even Frenchie's, have a look through. Look at all my tabs. There's lots of really good recipes in here. Some of the tables tonight had the Thousand Islands relish, a little bit gingery, a little bit of an orangey color. That's one of my new favorites. So I made like 4 relishes from this book, I think. So I'll have an update for you next year if I have any more new favorites. But if you're at Value Village, watch for this. Lots of good recipes in there. We have lots of good Pioneer Woman stuff for you because a friend was traveling through the States, and they can get better stuff in the States than we can in Canada. So there's all kinds of Pioneer Woman beautiful things that we're going to give away tomorrow. I have to tell you about my tooth powder. I've given up toothpaste. I found a recipe for tooth powder. It is literally baking soda, salt, and peppermint oil, and I put a little bit of xylitol in because I've read there are studies that say it might be connected to improving cavities. Again, not a doctor, do your research. But we cannot believe the difference that this tooth powder is making our teeth feel so clean. We don't have plaque buildup like we always used to. My adult daughter was getting ready to look into whitening options until I made the tooth powder, and a few days later she said, Mom, I don't think I need to. This stuff is amazing. So I have the recipe here if you'd like to give it a try. You can talk to me about that. We have a Carpe Fide shirt and some stickers to give away. This was one of the good things to come out of the last 2 years and the circus of all that. We met these guys in New Jersey. We met them online, and they were so supportive of us here at Weston when we chose to stay open. And yeah, most of my heroes have done time. And so on the back, there's all kinds of Christians who were imprisoned for their faith, right? Right down to James Coates in 2021 and Tim Stevens in 2021. Very cool. So this is a small, but it'll be the size of your choice, okay? Small, medium, or large. Okay. Do we have any for sale, Shannon? We can. Yes, we do. We will have them in the morning. We have the illuminated Psalms and Proverbs. I love these. If you're a journaler, there's lots of room. I can't do it. I just like the white space when I'm reading. I just feel like it's so peaceful. I can take my time and get through. But there's all kinds of beautiful illustrations and verses through there. So we've got a couple of those to give away, Psalms and Proverbs. I haven't read these ones, but I'm looking forward to it. Mere Motherhood. I've heard a lot of talk about that book. Am I wrong? Maybe we don't have Mere Motherhood. I think Cheryl has it for sale. Okay. Yeah, Cheryl has them. So if you want to check that out. I haven't read it, so I can't tell you about it. Morning time, we're going to give this one away. If you're a homeschooler, now I haven't read this one, but I heard about the idea, and I started doing it, and it really is amazing. Starting the morning together with all your kids, regardless of their ages, and having things that you can work through together. It's amazing what you can learn together, how much the younger ones pick up by being included. So she gives a description at the beginning. Oh, thank you. There it is. She gives a description of her method at the beginning, and then there's all kinds of suggestions of hymns and poems and books that you can read together. We have a beautiful Hinds Feet in High Places. It's almost like a scrapbook. That's beautiful. We're going to give that away tomorrow. Let's talk about this right now. So we're going to talk more about our phone detox tomorrow. Some of us have been talking about it for a very long time, and I've tried several times in the last year, but I needed the accountability of a group to really get going. So we're going to talk more about it tomorrow. Since we started, I had heard of this book, so I picked it up, and it really was eye-opening. It's a Christian author, written from a Christian perspective, but I have to tell you, we're going to give this away, and this is awesome. If you don't know anything about, if you're not being intentional about your phone use and you don't know how it's designed and what it's likely to do to your relationships, to the way your brain works, this is an awesome read. But I have to tell you, Shannon found one that I think is going to be better. I didn't have time to finish it this week. It's called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. Now, this guy is not a believer. And sometimes I actually think that's better because you go in on your guard, right? This guy doesn't pull any punches. From what Shannon told me, he tells it like it is, and he gives lots of practical examples about how it looks in real life. Because think about it, your phone is everything, right? I'm trying to reach for a calculator instead of the phone, get an alarm clock. There's so many things that we do with the phone. He gives lots of practical examples of how to distance yourself from your phone. Okay, we've got some hemp cream there that we're going to give away. Sarah James made a beautiful sign for our verse for this year. Unite my heart to fear thy name. We're going to give that away tomorrow. Is there anything else here I need to talk about? Praying the Bible. I talked about that a couple of years ago. We're going to give another one away tomorrow. If your prayer life is just kind of dull or you just don't know what to say, this is an awesome, awesome book for teaching you how to actually pray Scripture. Because Scripture is true, right? If you don't know what God's will is, read the Bible. So this will teach you, when you don't know what to say to God, this will teach you how to use Scripture to talk to Him. And it really changed my prayer life when I started doing this. Highly recommended. I think there's one more thing I want to... Oh, this is my copy. This was a gift. But our beautiful cheese board, when you come in each year, Shannon does those, and she just seems to have a gift. She just knows how to do it. When I do it at home, it is painful. I don't know how to do it. So I was given this book, Beautiful Boards, as a gift. This is a really fun book. All kinds of ideas, from a s'mores board to a candy unicorn birthday board to, a Christmas snowman board. There's all kinds of fun things. But the good thing for people like me, I can't find a page to show you. She shows you how to start, what to place first, and then what to put around it. So see, you're going to end up with that beautiful board. And I would sit down and try to do, but I don't know where to begin. So she shows you, place these things first and then tuck all the other things around. It seems so simple, but if you've ever tried to make one, you know it's not always as easy as it looks. So have a look at that, and you might want to start doing that for your family. That would be really fun. Okay, I think I'm going to quit it there. I've got some other of my fun favorite things here that I'm not going to take the time to talk about, but you are welcome to come up and have a look for yourself. Now, tomorrow morning when you come, we're going to have, I think I get this right, we're going to have these all numbered, and there's going to be a paper bag with all the numbers, and you're going to get ballots. So if you want the Pioneer Woman stock pot, and that's the only thing you want, put all your ballots in the stock pot, okay? So you'll be able to put your ballots in whichever prizes you'd like to win, and later in the day we will do a draw, and some lucky women will take home some beautiful things. Okay, so look for that in the morning. Okay, I think that wraps up our favorites. Do you have something to do, or do you want me to go straight on? Okay, so I think, does anyone need a break? Do we need like a 5-minute break?